Hi, it's Jessica from Psychedelic Doilies, and today I'm going to show you how to work the spike stitches in my Spice Market scarf, which is a free pattern that you can find on the blog. In my original scarf, I used this beautiful Spice Market yarn, which is where the pattern gets its name from. This is a silk yarn from the Darn Good Yarn Company that is made with recycled saris in India, and it's so unique and pretty. And if you'd like more information about that yarn or that company, you can find it in the blog post. But for today, I'm going to be using these contrasting yarns. Any two yarns will do, in a worsted weight and an H-hook. And to get started, the first thing we're going to need to do is build a little swatch of our scarf, starting with a chain 24 and then working 8 rows of single crochet. So a chain 24 gives us 23 stitches. So 8 rows of single crochet will get you here. And if you haven't done that yet, just pause the video and then come back when you're ready. So we have our 8 rows of single crochet, 23 stitches, and we're going to chain 1 and turn every time. And then for row 9, we're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Same thing again, chain 1. Skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And we're going to do that all the way across, working 3 single crochets, then doing a chain 1, skip 1. And this is creating the foundation row that we need for our spike stitches, because our spike stitches are going to be worked in these little spaces that we're creating with our chain 1s. Chain 1, skip 1, and then single crochet in these last 3 stitches. So we have created 5 of these chain 1 spaces, and it's hard to see here, but it'll be a little easier once we get another row in. But if you're finding it difficult to see the spaces, you can also put a little stitch marker to help you see it, because you're going to need to see that space when we do our spike stitches. Okay. Row 10, we're going to chain 1 and turn again, and we're just going to work we're going to single crochet all the way across, including in those chain 1 spaces. So when we're finished, we should still have 23 stitches. So single crochet in these first 3. And then there's our chain 1 space. It's a little easier to see now. We're going to single crochet right into that space. And we're just going to do that all the way across, single crocheting in all of the single crochets and in those chain 1 spaces. I tend to count 4 as 1, 2, 3. Those are my single crochets, and then 4 is my chain 1 space. Whatever gets you to the end of the row, do what works for you. Okay, we're going to crochet in these last 3 stitches now. And now we're ready to use our contrasting color for our spike stitches. And you can see those holes a little better now, especially if I stretch it out a little bit. Put my finger right there. And there's 5 of them that go all the way across. And those are where our spike stitches are going to be. So you can now cut this yarn, which I'm not going to do, but you're going to want to cut the yarn in your scarf, and you're going to want to attach your contrasting color. And I like to use a standing single crochet to attach, so I'm going to create a slip knot, put that on my hook, and I'm going to go right in to that first stitch and just treat it like a regular single crochet. Yarn over it, pull through 2. Just ignore my weird little loop there. Okay, So we have single crocheted in the first stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the second stitch also. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work in our chain 1 space that we created 2 rows down, and when doing that, we are skipping these 3 single crochets that are on our current row. We're going to be skipping those and working 3 spike stitches. And spike stitches are, in this case, essentially single crochet stitches, but they're just worked 2 rows down. So we're just going to go into that space, pull up the yarn, kind of pull it to the height of where we need to be, yarn over, and pull through 2. So we really just created a single crochet stitch, but it's elongated because we've put it 2 rows down, and we're going to do 2 more of those. So 2 and 3. And remember, we've, by doing this, skipped the 3 stitches in gray that are underneath. Now we're going to single crochet 1 time in the next stitch, and we're going to create those 3 spike stitches again in our next chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3. Same thing again, single crochet in the next stitch, and then work another spike. Trio, 1, 2, 3. So you can see our spikes are working up nicely here. Again, single crochet in the next stitch and work our spike stitches. 1, 2, 3. I'm using a variegated yarn, so this gray is actually kind of blending in on that stitch, but that's okay. Single crochet once, work 3 single crochets, or spike stitches I should say, and then our last chain space, and then 2 single crochets in our last 2 stitches. So we still have 23 stitches in total, because even though we skipped 3, we created 3 on top of them with our spike stitches. And then you're going to want to cut your yarn and switch back to your gray or whatever color you choose. And then you're going to start from the beginning of the pattern again, rows 1 through 10 that we did in gray down here. You're going to be doing 8 rows of single crochet, and then these 2 foundation rows that we did where we created our chain 1 spaces, and then created our spike stitches. And you're going to do that as many times as you want. I did it 24 times in my big scarf, which is very large and heavy and wonderful, and I love it. So this is it doubled up here, and you can see as I run it through how very long it is. I like the length because it really showcased the colors in this Spice Market yarn, and the length really lets you do different knots and things when you're tying your scarves, so it's very cozy. So that's it. Those spike stitches are easy to do. You just have to create those little spaces to work down into. And to get the pattern, go to psychedelicdoilies.com and you just search Spice Market Scarf. Thanks for crocheting with me today.